Serious, when did COVID-19 get real for you? When in the space of an hour. The NBA got cancelled. Trump banned all travel to and from Europe. Tom Hanks announced he had it. That made me go, oh. About a month or so ago, when my hospital converted a ward into a negative pressure unit in anticipation of our first patient from one of the cruise ships. We're still changing related procedures and protocols almost daily and prepping other wards to accept patients with pending tests. When my first patient tested positive and I realized I had been in that room without PPE, at my hospital a bunch of nurses were exposed to a positive patient, and they're being required to still come into work. I can't wait to catch it from one of them. Hey, my hospital is doing the same thing. Admitted a patient last week that was tested a few days after he got here. About 15 of us are being watched but still required to come to work. Hell, one of our artists was symptomatic but OC Health cleared him over the phone and told him to come to work. Strong work by the US healthcare system here. When I was on Nextdoor and saw that people are posting which grocery stores have food, I wasn't blind to anything, I was taking it seriously and all. But that was the moment where I realized, holy shit. We are currently in a world where people have to post which grocery stores have food. Last Monday, when a co-worker was diagnosed with it. I work at UPS, which is deemed essential. The last couple of weeks have rivaled peak season in the amount of work each day. A lot of older people work there as it's part-time and free health coverage. I have worked in investigations/security for 8 years and was always told we can never work from home. Reason being, we have access to millions of individuals' sensitive data and they didn't want to risk it being stolen. 2 weeks ago they bought hundreds of laptops and sent us all home to work. Today, when the government announced they're going to start putting the dead in a skating rink inside a local shopping mall because the local funeral homes don't have any more capacity. My aunt is one of the 100 people that have died in the last 24 hours in the US. She was like a mother to me growing up and I feel like my childhood just died with her. This is the first death in my life that has me confronting the realities of losing someone close to you. I was planning on going to visit her not too long ago, but the developing concerns over COVID kept me from doing so because she was already very sick. My cautious nature was to no avail because it still killed her. I could have seen her, but I didn't because I was concerned about something that happened anyways. This morning it got very, very real for me. Thank you all for the support, messages, and comments. This got a lot more attention than I could have expected, so I'm going to be that guy and hijack my noun post with an edit. What happened to my aunt is an example of what happens when you do not take COVID seriously. It is everyone's responsibility to do the best that they can to minimize the spread and contact with those that are vulnerable. You might be fine if you get COVID, but others are not. You can unintentionally contribute to the death of your loved ones or others by not being cautious. I know that many of us have to continue going to work or leaving for various reasons. If that's the case, the best thing you can do is keep yourself away from as many people as possible. I know social distancing can really suck, especially if you're an extrovert, but being 100% comfortable is not worth risking the lives of many. Who knows? Maybe my aunt was passed along the virus because someone thought I'm young and healthy. It can't hurt me. Stay safe, everyone. Most of all, stay strong. If there was ever a time for us to put aside our differences to band together and make sacrifices as a species, this is it right here. At my college, we probably won't even get to graduation. Just a document in the mail. We also had no time for proper goodbyes and a large portion of the student body is international, out of state, etc. I don't know when the next time I'll see my best friend again is. I've honestly been crying, or at least in a very volatile mood, the past couple of weeks because this has completely destroyed my entire social life, one which I assumed I had until May, with zero closure or clear communication from the admin of my college. I wasn't ready for this. I don't have high school friends. College is the first time and place I found my true friends and a true social life. I was living with two of my best friends in a very nice dorm. Now I'm couch crashing at my mom's and literally sleeping with the dogs. My cousin got sick, was admitted to the ICU, and tested positive for it. He's been out of the hospital for a few days but hasn't really improved, he just hasn't gotten worse. I texted with him a bit and it's still really serious, he has asthma as well. I guess it was only a matter of time before it affected somebody I know. When my colleague died, she was the first COVID-19 death in our state. I had seen her a few weeks ago and she was doing great, and then I received a company-wide email that she had passed. When my first patient tested positive and I realized I had been in that room without PPE. We own a small business. 3 days ago the government ordered us to shut down. We had to let go all of our employees, including 3 senior citizens who depended on their checks for their livelihood. We have some savings but not nearly enough to continue to live and maintain the business afloat. The state is not offering enough help for us. We are really in a tough situation. Our employees are also in the same boat. We have a 30-year-old employee who has nobody. She lives by herself and most likely will get evicted, as her landlord is an asshole. Her situation is desperate. This is so sad and so crazy. All of our hard work is going down the drain in 3 weeks. My first shift at the hospital after 9 days off and seeing how absolutely unprepared we were to deal with what's coming. For example, 2 nurses were allowed to come back to work after flying home from a cruise, in early March. They pulled both of them and sent them into quarantine but not until they received a call from the cruise line that 2 passengers so far had tested positive. There was at least 2 people on our unit who were like 99% confirmed, they just hadn't been tested because neither met the criteria for testing in this state, having left the country recently or directly knowing someone who had. And now I'm in the middle of another 9-day stretch off, having had what feel like a chest cold for going on 3 or 4 days now. Knowing I need to check in for a virtual health consult and wondering if they'll be footing the bill if I'm told to take 2 weeks off. When I found out both me and my husband are likely to get activated, National Guard, and we will have to send our 4-years-old daughter across the country to stay with family. Update, my husband went to in processing this morning at his unit. He explained the circumstances, his contract ends next month, but they still planned on having him in process. Which hey whatever, if they need us, they need us. Our daughter had a fever last week, which they also knew about. She's fine now, but once my husband got there they decided it was too much of a risk to use him in the off chance it was the coronavirus. It kinda sucks he drove out of state to his unit to immediately get sent home, but it's also a huge weight lifted from our shoulders for now.